Yo, I just got some information myself, man, because it was strange to me that every month he's going up for a bail hearing. And I know that seems strange to a lot of people.
In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean.
Here's the truth no one is talking about. When the FBI, DEA, and other agencies launched a massive operation inside Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, it wasn't just a routine safety check. This wasn't a simple walkthrough with boards and flashlights. No, it was a full-scale operation, an intense, coordinated sweep that involved 9 units, tactical teams, and a heavy presence of federal agents at one of the most notorious detention centers in the United States. And let's not forget, this is the very same facility where Diddy Combs is being held. That's no coincidence. So, what were they really looking for? And how does it tie into the ongoing circus surrounding one of the most controversial figures in entertainment?
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily, so I guess right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind.
Let's start with the operation itself, which felt more like a scene out of a blockbuster action movie than a routine prison check. Insider accounts describe a dramatic scene. Agents moving in, dogs sniffing every corner, and cells being turned upside down. Official statements from authorities were predictably vague. No active threat, just part of routine procedures. But anyone paying attention knows there's more to this. Reports suggest that this wasn't simply about enforcing prison rules or cracking down on contraband. It was about sending a clear message. Whether that message was directed at Diddy or the public at large is still up for debate. But the timing is hard to ignore. With Diddy's legal troubles making headlines and his name linked to a range of serious allegations, the decision to storm the very facility where he's being held raises a lot of questions.
When people got a lot of money and they got lawyers that could come up with different reasons and different information and present it to the courts, that they are able to get how many bail hearings, as long as you got different information to present to the court, different evidence.
If you're not familiar with the Metropolitan Detention Center, let's paint the picture. This isn't your typical jail. It's been described as hell on earth, and that description isn't without cause. Overcrowded cells, rampant safety issues, and a deteriorating infrastructure make it a nightmare for anyone unlucky enough to end up there. The facility is infamous for lacking even the most basic amenities. Imagine this: inmates freezing in the winter due to power outages, rats outnumbering guards, and medical care being more of a rumor than a reality. It's no surprise that some judges have outright refused to send defendants there, calling its conditions barbaric. And yet, this is where Diddy, a man used to private jets and multi-million-dollar mansions, finds himself. The irony of it all is almost poetic.
So you got to realize he got a lot of money. He still got a lot of money because he's paying these high-profile lawyers to take this case. So in having them to take this case, they're able to construct a lot of information together to making sure that when they go to the courts, they can say, yo, Your Honor, listen here, this is something that's changed. This is something that's new. This is something that's different.
But let's get back to the raid. Why now? Why such an overwhelming show of force, and what were they really hoping to uncover? Some speculate the operation was tied to Diddy's high-profile case, especially considering the allegations of witness tampering and other behind-the-scenes maneuvers. After all, this isn't just any inmate. Diddy's name alone carries significant weight, enough to command attention. His alleged actions, from paying off witnesses to using other inmates' phone accounts, have only fueled the fire. Could the raid have been a response to these accusations? Or was it simply a way for authorities to flex their muscles and remind everyone, including Diddy, who's truly in charge? And let's not overlook the rumors circulating about what might be going on behind those prison walls. Unconfirmed reports suggest that contraband, including sensitive documents and other restricted items, may have been discovered during the sweep. While authorities remain tight-lipped about the specifics, the sheer scale of the operation hints at something much bigger. Some insiders even speculate the raid was meant to uncover evidence that could strengthen the government's case against Diddy. Whether that's the case or not, one thing is clear: this wasn't just about maintaining order. It was about control. How did the EP affect education?
A whole forestry of next week, because what they did was they held off whatever the procedures was going to go down today. The judge said he's going to revisit this next week. So I guess, I don't know if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll find out what's going on, but it's going to be something that I think it may shock the world.
What makes this situation even more fascinating is the stark contrast between Diddy's current reality and the life he once led. This is a man who built an empire on glitz and glamour, who threw legendary parties that attracted Hollywood's elite, and who, for decades, seemed untouchable. But now, he's just another inmate in a facility that doesn't care about fame or fortune. While some might argue he's finally getting a taste of his own medicine, others see it as a tragic fall from grace. Either way, Diddy's presence at MDC Brooklyn has shown an even brighter spotlight on an already infamous institution. For years, MDC Brooklyn has symbolized everything wrong with the federal prison system. It's a place where violence is a daily reality, where inmates must fend for themselves in overcrowded conditions, and where basic human rights are routinely ignored. And yet, it continues to operate, housing some of the most high-profile figures in recent history, from Ghislaine Maxwell and R. Kelly to now Diddy. The facility has become a grim cultural touchstone, a stark reminder of what happens when power and privilege collide with the justice system.
Diddy is a multi-millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. If he wins this case against them, look at all the business that he lost. Look what they made him look like in the public eye. He could bankrupt. he could bankrupt the government.
Here's the thing. While Diddy's case has brought renewed attention to MDC Brooklyn, the facility's issues go far beyond one man. Reports of systemic neglect, corruption, and abuse have plagued the jail for years, and the recent raid only highlights how deeply these problems run. Take, for instance, the allegations of staff involvement in smuggling contraband. While the FBI has yet to confirm whether this played a role in the operation, it wouldn't be the first time MDC Brooklyn has faced such accusations. In fact, several staff members have been arrested in recent years for everything from accepting bribes to facilitating illegal activities. This pattern points to a much larger issue within the Bureau of Prisons, a culture of complacency and corruption that allows these problems to persist and fester.
They know they already won their case. He's gonna have to plead guilty to something. Maybe the guns, it may be the sex trafficking, it may be some stuff they found in the tax evasion. It may be charges that we don't even know about. But he's gonna have to plead guilty to something which get them off the hook.
Then there's the matter of the other inmates, many of whom are far less high profile than Diddy but are no less impacted by the conditions at MDC Brooklyn. For them, the raid was just another reminder of the power dynamics at play. While Diddy's case may have attracted cameras and headlines, the harsh reality is that life at MDC Brooklyn is just as brutal for the nameless, faceless individuals who make up the majority of its population. These are people who don't have million-dollar legal teams or the support of a global fan base. For them, the raid wasn't about justice, it was about survival. Then, there's the matter of the other inmates, many of whom are far less high-profile than Diddy, but are no less impacted by the conditions at MDC Brooklyn. For them, the raid was just another reminder of the power dynamics at play. While Diddy's case may have attracted cameras and headlines, the harsh reality is that life at MDC Brooklyn is just as brutal for the nameless, faceless individuals who make up the majority of its population. These are people who don't have million-dollar legal teams or the support of a global fan base. For them, the raid wasn't about justice, it was about survival.
They know they already won their case. He's gonna have to plead guilty to something. Maybe the guns, it may be the sex trafficking, it may be some stuff they found in the tax evasion. It may be charges that we don't even know about. But he's gonna have to plead guilty to something which get them off the hook.
So where does this leave Diddy? For now, he remains in custody, awaiting the next chapter in what has already been a tumultuous legal battle. His team continues to push for bail, arguing that the conditions at MDC Brooklyn are not only inhumane, but also hinder his ability to prepare for trial. While the judge overseeing his case has so far remained unmoved by these arguments, the ongoing scrutiny of the facility may eventually work in Diddy's favor. After all, it's one thing to deny bail based on the severity of the charges, but quite another to do so knowing the harsh conditions the defendant will face while in custody.